So we hit 20,000 subscribers, and now it's time for me to take you on a tour of my house. I don't have a fancy gimbal like Dr. Z's, so we're gonna have to work with a tripod. Coming into the front door, this is my dining room. In the dining room, the smart devices are two Sonoff B1s in this lamp here that are controlled by Home Assistant. Then over on the left, you can see my aquariums. We'll do a little pan around here. These are my two Aquarium Reef tanks. They're both fully controlled by Home Assistant. It reports the temperature of each one, and it controls the daylight LEDs and also the dawn and dusk LEDs. You can also flip the filters off just so you can do cleaning a little bit easier. This light is also controlled by Home Assistant. This light is controlled by an old TP-Link switch. Moving on to the kitchen. First thing in the kitchen you can see is a Wemo brand dimmer that I haven't replaced yet. I do intend on replacing this with a Tasmota dimmer, but I haven't done it yet. Then I've got two push-button momentary switches that are mounted to Decora plates here. And these momentary push buttons are linked to Sonoffs. There's still Sonoffs back there. Despite my love for Shelly, I haven't converted everything over from Sonoff to Shelly yet. So Sonoffs back here. Each of these, this one is in a three-way configuration for the hallway light. This one's in a three-way configuration for the hallway light. And this one is in a three-way configuration for the task light for this area. Not much to see in the kitchen. We've got LED under cabinet lights that are controlled by a Sonoff Basic, and those turn on and off when we leave the house and enter the house based on the away mode. And I think that is it for smart stuff in the kitchen. You can see over here I've got a lot of things that I've built. This is one of those things. This is a custom little mail station to fit into this spot here. It's got, you know, a charging ports for phones. It's got a little shelf. It's got a little magnetic thing. This was a nice little, you know, 1 hour build that has given us a lot of functionality. Next, we're going to move on to the family room. Here's the patio. We'll circle back around to that. And here we are in the family room. And the family room contains my desk, and it also contains my daughter's desk and the TV, and it's also where a Christmas tree is. And this room has a lot of automation in it. So currently we've got the Christmas tree, and the Christmas tree is being controlled by a Sonoff, or no, sorry, by a Shelly 1 running in low voltage mode. These garland over here are controlled by a smart plug, and that smart plug is just a generic smart plug that's super old, but it happened to have an ESP8266 in it, so I flashed it. It's made by Envicon or something like that. Also, these lights used to be battery powered, and I've switched them over to being powered by a AC adapter. And then as a result of that, you can see that when you turn off the Christmas tree, both of them turn off because they're linked together in Home Assistant. So that's nice. So you can just turn on one, and the other one will turn off, and you can use Echo Dot commands and things like that. Entertainment center, all that stuff is controlled by a Harmony hub, and also by the Amazon Echo. Here's my daughter's computer. What else is automated in here? Oh, up here we have our ceiling light. Let's see if we can pan up and down. So here you can see my desk. This is my workstation. This is where I edit all my videos. This is where I do a lot of my soldering. On the wall over here, I've got controls for the uplights that are, you got a Sonoff Basic back here doing the uplights, a Sonoff Dual that actually has its relays disconnected for the downlights. That's the spotlight here, and then the uplights are this one here. And then I've got a outlet with USB charging here. This is where I plug in my soldering iron to work on stuff at my desk. I've got one of these cool gas-powered or gas shock assisted monitor stands, so I can really easily give myself a lot of work, or a lot of room to work. Yeah, you can see my cameras over there on the left. Let's see what else. Here, there is the ceiling light. And you can see that if you go into Home Assistant, the ceiling light is controllable. You can control each zone individually, each light individually, and then you can also control the brightness of each light individually. Not sure how well that's going to show up on the video, but just turned down the brightness of 2 of the lights and then turned off 3 of the lights. So you can see they're all individually controlled, and we have scenes for them for doing different things. Like for instance, if my daughter is going to perform a show for us up here, a little dancing show, then we can turn on the front 3 at full brightness and leave the rest of them off, and that gives her a little stage up here. If she's working over at her desk over here at the computer, we can turn these 3 on and shine the light over here. If my wife is reading on the couch, she can turn on just those, or if she's over there. It's really convenient to be able to control them individually. You can also see on my desk I've got my Echo here, Google Wi-Fi here, printer and scanner are over on the other side, but who wants to see those? All right, let's move on to the next room, which is the first of the multi-purpose rooms in my house, and it is the guest room, the downstairs guest room / playroom. So this room doesn't have too much smart stuff. You've got smart switches over here, some Shellys that control the light for the room and the uplights for the Murphy bed. Over here you've got my wife's desk. She has manually turned off the desk lights, but my wife's desk is here. The computer is actually mounted up here. I think I did a video on that showing where that is. And so it's the computer has an on-off switch that's controlled by a Wemos D1 or D1 Mini. And then it's not really smart related, but it's certainly a smart thing to have. One of my favorite things is having rooms be multi-purpose, because if you have a guest room and there's a bed in it, well, how often does that bed get used? So I love things like this. This is our Murphy bed unit. I built this one custom for the space. I'm really big on having custom furniture. The entertainment center that you saw in the other room, I built that custom for that space as well. The modern drawers and stuff like that. And I built this one custom for this space, so you can see it fits. I don't know how well you can see it. Fits perfectly for this door here. And then it's got a spot where my wife's computer can sit, and this computer desk can pull out and actually extend to be a full-size desk. And it has a little extension piece that comes down like this, so that you can have a full-size desk in the back. And then this also converts. This is the Murphy bed, and so let's take off some stuff here. So this is the first of the Murphy beds that you'll see in my house, and like I said, I built it from a kit. I think it's called Create a Bed I think is the name of the kit. It's a little bit expensive, but you'll see it's super nice. Basically, the kit that you buy just has all of the gas shocks in it and the equipment to do the hinges and things like that. And you assemble it and you make it however you want. So we added the drawers and shelves on either side and the desk on the one side, and super nice, super helpful to have around. So when you have guests for the holidays, they have some place to stay, but you know, you're not constantly having a bed in this room, and so you can have it be something else. This is our patio. You've probably seen this before, once or twice. A lot of automation happening out here. We've got the ceiling fan and the light are controlled via sun-offs that are connected to Home Assistant. They're Tasmatized sun-offs, so you can use Amazon Echo to control them, which is really important because the switches are inside, and so that'd be really annoying to have to get up and go inside. When you're laying on the couch or something, you want to just be able to say, Alexa, turn on the patio fan.
Okay.
And the patio fan turns on. I had it turned on before, you can see, so I turned it off for the purpose of the video. These shades are also controlled via Home Assistant and via the Echo, so you can say things like, well, let's say you're laying on the couch and the sun is right in your eyes. You can say, Alexa, turn the couch shade to 60%.
Okay.
And that'll do a good job of blocking out that light for you. We got some Bluetooth speakers over there. We got, those are connected to the Echo. What else? So we got the pool. Let's go to the pool. So the pool, we get the pool temperature via Home Assistant. We get the pool light control via Home Assistant. We can control the pool cleaner, although I can't stop the pool cleaner from getting caught, getting stuck. It's stuck on the stairs right now. I wish I could control that via Home Assistant. Then the hot tub also controlled via Home Assistant and by Echo. One other thing before we head upstairs, there is our downstairs Roomba that cleans every night unless the Murphy bed is down, and then that will toggle the house guest's input boolean, which tells us that there's a house guest and that the downstairs Roomba shouldn't run. Nothing too exciting in the landing. You can see we've got an Ecobee 3 over there that controls the upstairs climate. Got a little Christmas tree. Here's my bedroom and the laundry room, and then the multi-purpose room, which is our next stop. Here is where that Shelly 1 is housed, and so this light here is the light for the stairs that can also be controlled via Home Assistant, and it's in a 3-way configuration with a single Shelly 1. This one actually has no smart switch on it because we don't use this light at all. So this room is sort of the everything room. We call it the multi-purpose room, or sometimes we call it the exercise room. You can see we got a treadmill up here, we've got a spin bike up here, we've got a weight bench up here, or a weight cage, whatever you might call this thing. This is for working out in the house. You can see there's also a TV for working out, because how do you work out without a TV, especially if you're on the bike or on the treadmill? That's an absolute necessity. That TV is powered by a Fire TV box, which I've actually been really happy with. And I mentioned in my Fire TV box review that it had some downfalls. One of the major downfalls was that it couldn't be in whole home audio, and they've actually switched that. Just the very last patch, it was like a week ago. Now the Fire TV box can be part of your whole home audio, so that's cool. And you can say things like, Alexa, turn on the TV. And it turns on the receiver, and it turns on the TV, and let's see what it brings it up to. Right now it's on the computer, so it's showing my HAS.io VirtualBox. Oh, there we go. We're going to switch it over to the HDMI 1, which is the Fire TV. So this is the first configuration of this room. You can see it's got lots of smart stuff. Smart light switch here, smart fan. These lights up here are controlled via Home Assistant. They're WS2812B, and you can control them via Home Assistant, and you can also give them effects like confetti and like rainbow. Now, why would you ever want to have confetti or rainbow? Well, first of all, it's fun. Second of all, because you can use it as a kid's nightlight. So what you do is you turn the brightness way down like so. And then, why would you need a kid's nightlight in an exercise room? Well, we're going to see the very first conversion of this room. So you take this exercise bike and you move it out of the way over to here. And then here we can see that we've got a set of Murphy bed bunk beds. Now this has a ladder over here that acts as a secondary support for this. I'm not going to bother getting that out for the video, but it is there as a secondary support. And you can see that if I was going to have somebody sleeping here, I would get rid of this. This is the green screen that I use for my videos, but we'll show you that in a second. So these are Murphy bunk beds. They are made by the same company, which is Create-A-Bed. Again, it's a kit that you buy and then you assemble it yourself. It doesn't come with the plywood. You cut all the plywood. You actually make all the plans yourself too. It just comes with the hardware. So you can see in this one, I've sort of flipped around the legs of this one so that it acts as a rail. So you don't fall off of the top bunk, because it doesn't need legs because it has supports here and here. This one, the legs are acting as legs. And when you buy the Create-A-Bed kit, like I said, I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but I've used their product a lot. You can see I have 3 of them. I'm not sure if this is a sanctioned way to set up the Create-A-Bed, but it works great. I designed these bunk beds just in SketchUp and then built them. And they've been awesome, and I've gotten up on this bed before and jumped, and it's not going anywhere. It's super solid. But the reason why I love Create-A-Bed is because the stuff that you get from them is probably not worth the $300 or $400. I think it's $300 that it costs for the kit. But they go through and they figure out all of the values that you need. So for instance, you tell them that you're going to build a twin bed and you're going to have it going horizontal rather than vertical, and they know all the calculations for the gas shocks, for how much weight that gas shock needs to be able to compensate for in order to make the bed not only safe, so that it doesn't fall down automatically, but also easy to operate. And so you select whether you want a queen bed or a king bed, twin bed, horizontal or vertical, and then they send you the parts and they just work. And so in this case, I'm sure I could have figured it out on my own, and I'm sure I could have probably put something together. But in the case of a bed and the case of a bed that is for a guest, I didn't really want to do any messing around, so I just bought the kit. Like I said, these have been great. Okay, so this is the second use of this room, is as a guest bed for kids, right? So my daughter will sometimes have sleepovers in here, or if cousins are visiting and they've got kids, they can be in here as well. So that's the second thing that this room is for, and that's why we have the ability to do the night lights in rainbow, because they love that. All right, so the third thing this room can do, let's move the exercise bike back. The third thing that this room does is it acts as an office. So it's got a desk and a chair. So in this cabinet here, this is a giant cabinet that keeps all kinds of stuff in, and we've got a folding chair here, and this folding chair sits here, and we can pull out this desk. And I didn't do that, by the way, that was just random that it happened to happen at the same time. And I've got my keyboard here for this desk, and I've got my mouse for this desk, and I can say, Alexa, turn on HDMI 2.
Okay.
And it'll switch over, and then now I can control my computer here. So I can do work at the computer here. And then also, I do work up here sometimes when I start to live stream regularly, which who knows if that's ever gonna happen after seeing how many times the good doctor is giving away all of his secrets and passwords. It kind of terrifies me because I did have one leak on my first live stream, and I had to go through and change all kinds of passwords, and it was a huge pain. But if I can ever get it so that I have a totally safe system where I'm not gonna be leaking passwords all over the place as I'm editing files, then this is where I'll do that, because I have a nice secluded room in here and I've got a nice computer to do it. But the other thing that happens in here is, without the computer, this is really my daughter's space where she can go and come up and spread out on this desk and draw and have big pieces of paper, and the desk is covered in plexi, so we're not worried about her getting paint on it or anything like that, or markers. It's just whatever she wants can happen up here on this desk. This also is the computer that controls the 3D printer, and yeah. And then so that's the third use of this room. The fourth use of this room is very important for the hookup. And that is, this room acts as my studio. So in this closet here, I've got my tripods, and I've got my softbox lighting, my studio lighting. So these are just from Amazon. I think the cheapest studio lights that they buy, or that you can buy, but they're awesome, to be honest. So I've got this one, and then there's another one in the closet, but I won't bother getting that out because it would just obscure your view from where you are. But it's in there. And that closet closes up nicely. And then, oh, we can put the chair back in it as well. And then we can also get down the green screen. So back behind here, behind this top bunk bed, I've got my green screen that I just pull out, shut the top bunk again, and I can sit right here and I can say, today on the hookup, we're gonna do something like tour my house. And it works perfect, and can set up and tear down in seconds, or maybe minutes rather, so that it doesn't always have to be in studio mode, and we don't completely lose the function of this room, because honestly our house isn't that big. Now it's plenty big, don't get me wrong, but it's nice to have rooms like this one that can transform into the things that you need them to be at any given time. And the last room is my bedroom, and this room actually has 0 automated products in it. No light switches, no bulbs, no anything like that. Just projects for me to complete. Up here on the ceiling, you can see a blank light up there. That light needs to become something. Probably going to become a multi-purpose light that has uplighting and also task lighting, but I haven't done that yet. And then the most important thing, and a project that needs to be completed, but I really keep running into snags, is this giant wall of curtains here. Got about 14 feet, I believe, of curtains there, and every attempt that I've made to try to automate them has, for the most part, failed, and that's a lot of my fault, because instead of getting a real curtain rod when I installed these, when we moved in 2012, I just used EMT conduit, because it was such a long curtain and I didn't want it to sag. So I used conduit so that it would have nice and be nice and rigid. But now, because instead of using or I used conduit instead of using the type of curtain that has the runners on it, that has the pull cords. Everything has been really hard. I have done a few attempts at this. There was a great 3D printed curtain opener that was posted on YouTube a while back, and I did attempt it, and unfortunately, in order to get that to work, the curtains have to slide really easily, and the problem with these curtains is when you start to slide them, they really start holding on to each other because there's not quite enough room around this EMT conduit for these curtain rods or these curtain grommets here to spread out. So I still don't know what to do about this. I've been looking for the perfect product. ZemiSmart does make a curtain, but I think it's kind of expensive. Now, it's not expensive given what the normal ones cost from, you know, big box stores and things like that, but I think it's still like $400 or something like that. And I've been reluctant to send out to review it because it does still seem pretty expensive to me, and most of the things that I like to do are less expensive. And so I've been trying to come up with a less expensive option for opening these curtains, and then once I do get that working, I will also be automating the blinds as well. That's easy to do. I've done that before with a servo in the blinds, but I haven't bothered to do that since the curtains get opened and closed a lot, and so there's no reason to open and close the blinds if you can't open and close the curtains automatically, because if you're already doing that manually, you might as well just open the blinds manually too. But those are all on my projects list: a light for this room, a curtain opener for this room, and automating the blinds for this room. This is also where our second Roomba lives, our upstairs Roomba that cleans the upstairs. This Roomba only cleans during the day, and it only cleans while we are not home. So it uses the presence detection in the house in order to figure out if we're in the house, and if we are in the house, it will not turn on. And so that's super helpful. It only turns on work days where we are out of the house. And that's about it for today. Hope you enjoyed the tour. If you have questions over anything that you saw in the house and you'd like to know more about them, please leave your comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching The Hookup.